Hello, peoples of the internet. Today I got Evie in the room, over there snoring away, holding some sacred space for the animal beings. Um, and today I thought I would talk about a piece of information that came in. I can't remember if it's last year or the year before, and it's information about sand or dust. And I remember this information just came in as like a blast of knowing. And it took me quite a while to sort of unpack this information. And it literally blew my mind wide open. And some people are like, yeah, so what does it matter? And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. It's just an interesting piece of information and it gives us the truth. And I think it matters because sand is of matter, and also because it shows that all is one, all is literally one in this world. So, um, let's see, how did the sand healing begin? I think I was holding space, and the God Source was saying to me, like, Lisa, do you know how this planet was formed? And I was like, no, not exactly. And it said that what happens is that planets have, they just, they have this small amount of gravitational pull. They go through this part of space, this little bit of gravitational pull starts, and then the sand starts to collect to the planet. And as the sand begins to collect to the planet, the gravitational pull and the spin and moving through space, it collects more and more and more sand, and it begins to create a planet. And from what I can understand, there's ice involved with that too. Water or ice is involved in that process of forming itself into one. And as it does, it collects that dust from space. So the planet is formed of this space dust. And it was also showing me and highlighting to me that, Lisa, all things, like, this planet started as a dust planet. That's all that was on it. It was sand. It was just sand and dust, right? And out of the sand came everything on this planet. Every living thing came out of that sand. So the water, well, the water's separate. It came from somewhere. It came from that ice, I think, that collects to the sand. But the plants, the animals, everything on this planet came from sand. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's so weird. And it said, and then it goes through a lifetime of being sand, or of being a living planet. And eventually everything on the planet returns to sand, and it becomes sand again. And that's sort of a lifetime of a planet. And I was like, what? Right. And it said, like, a lot of the planets that we see in space are just sand at this point in time, and they might have life at some point, and they might not have life at some point. And I know all of that has to do with like Goldilocks zones and things like that. But we see planets in different sort of times of their lifespans, and it depends on what part of its lifespan it's in for what's on the surface of the planet. And it was showing me that, like, everything is birthed of sand, right? So the animals are birthed of the sand, the plants are birthed of the sand, and everything gets life for a period of time, and then eventually it returns to the sand. And that reminds me of a healing that's coming in presently that's about entropy. And entropy is like the second thermodynamic of the universe, and movement is the common denominator of this universe. Everything in this universe moves, and even if it looks like it's not moving, like a chair, the cellular structure in the chair, the ions, the atoms are moving. Everything's always moving. And so entropy means that everything that moves eventually breaks down. And it was kind of given an example when I looked up the word entropy a while ago. It was giving up this example of like on a beach, you can build this castle, and the castle's built out of the sand. And then eventually over time, as the waves come in, it breaks that castle down, it returns to the sand. And now you can build another castle out of the sand. And there's a million versions of castles you can build out of the sand. And eventually it returns to the sand. And that's the same as houses. That's the same as trees. That's the same as humans. There's that saying, they say ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Everything turns back to ashes. Everything turns back to dust. Even ash turns back to dust. And the God source was telling me that the sand is made up of silicate. And silicate is like crystals. It's like a crystalline matter in the sand. And the God source said that crystal form holds the memory of all things. So you talk about the Akash. The Akash is a records that the humans can access. Certain human psychic humans can access this Akash, and it's almost like this memory space of the universe that you can go into, and you can kind of access your own book that's got your name on it, and it's like your past, present, future in this book. And the gods were said that the sand is the Akash of the universe. So of the form realm, the sand is the Akash of the form realm. The memories are in the sand. And so what it said is like, if we're birthed at a certain part of the earth, that part of the earth is part of your sand, right? So wherever your mom, wherever they're eating of, really. So if they're eating of the plants and animals of that part of the sand, then you're going to be created of that part of the sand, right? Because the plants and animals are also created of the sand, and the minerals that are in the plants and animals that you ingest and become part of your bones. So your bones are created of that sand, right? So is the rest of your body. All form parts of your body are created of the sand, and your bones are going to have memories in it. And because your sand came from your mom's sand, you're going to have memories that your mom had that are going to have memories of her mom that are going to have memories of her mom and her mom all the way back through time. So that's why we have multi-generational wounds held in the bones. They're wounds that are held in the bones because the bones are holding the memories. It's that sand that we got from our mothers. It's the things that are still left undone. So good memories and bad memories come through the sand and come through the bone. And I would have said in an earlier video that, the bone's very stubborn. The bone's very thick. It's like thick-headed, it's a thick rock. It's a stubborn. It's you gotta clear it multiple times from that space to get it out of the bone, because the bone's a memory keeper, right? Just like the sand is a memory keeper. So when you cross, your bone returns to the sand, right? And then your memories go into the sand in amongst all the other memories that are in the sand of all the other plants, animals, and humans, primates, all the beings that have ever been on this plane of existence are in the sand. The memories are in the sand. And so when you go back home where you were born, you remember the sand. That's your home sand, like that's where you were created out of. So that's why it feels like home. It was also telling me about the sand that when you take a rock, from one place and you move it, so somebody takes a rock from here and they move it to Europe, and then that rock slowly, disintegrates over time, and that's at entropy, right? It's part of this universe. It's a natural, normal part of this universe. It's the second thermodynamic rule of the universe. So it means all things eventually break down with movement. So movement causes things to break down, right? So, and on the other side of that, you have creation. So you have the castle going up, the creation, and the entropy, it breaks down. And then the castle goes up, creation, and then entropy, it breaks down. And that's how this universe moves through time and space. And if that didn't happen, you would only have one memory, right? But because it happens, we have trillions, gazillions, whatever comes after that, of memories, which is the universe watching itself. It's the universe experiencing its own self. Do I exist? Oh, this is what existence is about. What happens when beings go through these experiences? Oh, that's what they do. Oh, that's who I am. So all of the memories are in the sand, and most planets are created of sand, right? But some are created of gases. So gases, sand, and water are kind of the baselines of this universe. Like everything goes back to the sand. Everything is created of the sand, is what the God Source was imparting to me. And you have this is an interesting part it was showing me too. Oh, okay, so like if you bring that down and that information's in the other part of the earth, then those memories return to the earth over there. So it's still on the earth plane. So it's not really going anywhere, except for now you have more memories accessible over there. The other thing is, because we're all created of the sand, we're all created of the stardust. Like sand is literally stardust. It came from space. It came from different parts of space. And we're created of these different parts of space, which is this other thing that I was going to mention that has to do with the star seeds. So a lot of people can remember lifetimes of other living beings. So they can remember the Lyrans, which are like the cat people. Other people remember the Venusians. That's people from Venus, right? And possibly one of the reasons they're remembering being a Venusian or a Lyran is because those planets that at one time existed in the 12 billion span of this universe, possibly, eventually entropied and broke down and, burst or whatever happened to them. And they are part of the earth. And so some people are born with those memories in their bones. And so it may not be so much that that they're a soul that came in, but that's a possibility as well. I want to leave that as a possibility that a soul came in, that has those memories, because the souls do have those memories, but also potentially they're remembering from their bones. It could be part of the stardust that is, has created the earth. And so, and everything on the earth was created of the same stardust. We're all the same family. But our stardust is no different than the stardust in the universe, which means everything in the universe is of the same family, and that's why we're all one. So I think the crystals part was another important part it was showing me. So like memories are held in crystals is what they were saying. And that sand is made up of these crystals. And so our bodies are literally made up of crystals. Like we have crystals in our bones, but in our cells, it was saying, and also in the water, because water itself is a crystal, which is also another memory keeper. And it's also something that can be programmed. And so our waters can be programmed. We hold the memories in our sand and our crystals, the solid memories that will always be there, but also we can program our waters to be what we want this piece of sand to be. So let's see, what else was it telling me about the crystals and the sand? Right. It was also telling me about the crystal skulls. So there's these stories of these crystal skulls, which, some people, I think they call them the Atlantean skulls, and some people believe that they come from like the original 12 tribes on the earth plane of existence. And some people believe there's 13 skulls, which is 12 plus 1 equals 13, and that they're kind of based off of space. So the 12 months of the year. So Cancer, Aries, Taurus, all those kinds of things, those parts of the space. Those are different parts of the space that create the whole that we see from this plane of existence. And so I think the 12 families are based off astrology, and but really there would be 13, because in the Aboriginal tradition, there's 13 months of 28 days, and they go off the turtle's back. So the turtle literally has a calendar on its back. Every turtle has 13 big like shields, I don't know what you call them, that go around the outside of the back, and then they have 28 little ones around the outside and 13 in the middle. So 13 months with 28 days. So every turtle holds a calendar on their back, which is mind blowing. And I think that's also why they revere the turtle, calling Turtle Island America. And it's also because they saw the turtle is the only animal that comes up out of the water and creates land out of the water. And it's literally like our America came up out of the water, and it's a piece of land. So it's like Turtle Island. So, and that turtle is made of the same sand as you, right? We're all one big family. The plants, the animals, and the air, earth, water, fire, all the elements and the elementals, we're all one big family created of the same sand. So, yeah, the crystal skulls. So those 12 families, those 12 tribes, or 13 tribes, however many there are, different people believe different things. The God source was showing me that they were wise. They knew that there was a cataclysm coming, and because there was a cataclysm, they wanted to put their memories into these crystal skulls. So they used their sand, which they literally show me human bodies. They used the dust of human bodies to create these crystal skulls. And so and they did that because they knew that the memories were in these bodies. Maybe they were like tribe leaders. I'm not sure what they did there exactly, but that's what the God source was showing me. And even like nowadays, modern days, they say you can make a crystal out of your loved ones who've crossed away, because they use the hydrogen within the sand or within the dust to create these crystals. So, I mean, they're doing it even in modern days. So I'm sure it can be done. And so it's the memories of the tribes in those crystal skulls. And I will do another healing or talk or information about connecting into crystals and getting the information from crystals that crystals hold. And that's another piece of information that I got through a vision. So yeah, I think that's most of this information that it gave me this time about us all being one, that we're all made of the sand, that the sand is the common denominator of the universe, that the sand holds the memories, and it depends what collection of sand that you're created from, the memories that you can access from your bones, and that we're all made of space dust. That we're all literally made of space dust. This whole planet is made of space dust. And that is, like, to me, just like the most magical thing I've ever heard. And I don't know, I just love this piece of information. So if you have information to add to this information, please comment. If you've had other visions that are similar to the visions I'm talking about, please add it. Anything you want to talk about, please add it. So I'm just going to do a quick release around this, just so that we can clear the old programs, thoughts, information that we were taught that isn't in alignment with the truth. And we're just going to implement that the truth goes into each and every one of the people watching or that are doing this release, because this is the truth that came through me, but your truth might be different. So that's cool. But I am sharing this information because the right people need it, and they need it to be able to, I guess, access the oneness. Maybe we need it for our creations moving forward into the future. We also need it so that we can really respect dust. We can respect the stones, the mountains, the crystals, the diamonds. Um, and the Gospels did show me at one point in time too that like diamonds want to be respected, right? Like they don't like it when, like, what the humans like to do is we like to just take the diamond and or the crystal that we buy, and then we're like, oh, I'm putting my own program in there. It's like, no, they don't quite like that. That's grapey, right? That's you putting your own um want onto them, and they're a living being. So you want to actually get in communication with them and speak with them and ask them if that's okay. But in most cases, what I understand they appreciate is for us to just feel like what their frequency is. So some maybe are going to bring laughter, and some are going to bring groundedness, and some are going to bring love, some are going to bring creativity. And you want to kind of utilize them for what their skill base is, and so I'll get more into that in the crystal healing. So we're going to clear all of that and just integrate it with ease and grace, and see what comes into the future. So Source God Mother, I acknowledge and accept everything that we're speaking of so far today, and that this is new information. Like, I don't know anybody talking about this information, and it's kind of hard to hold in the first place. But if your soul's saying, yeah, no, this is true, then it's the right information for you. And that we just want to clear, cleanse, and heal the old mindsets, modes of functioning, ways of existing, toxic dynamics inside and outside of us, specifically to this universe and to the earth herself and to the plants, animals, air, earth, water, to the elemental beings, that we're created in separation consciousness, so that we can remember the truth that we're all connected, that we're all part of the same whole, that we all have a right to exist. We all have a right to exist in our wholeness, and that our bones are made of sand, that we have crystals in our bodies, and that those crystals hold memories, right? Just like they use crystals in computers, and they use them in there to hold memory, to hold code and stuff like that. And it's like your body's holding memory and holding code. And then, like I said, we have the water inside of us that we can program for health and wellness and for growth and expansion and for creativity and love and peace and groundedness and stability, knowing that our bones are already inside of us, keeping us stable. Like, they literally hold us from being like a bag of liquid, like goo, right? They have our back, they hold us upright, they support us, right? And that we do have these memories in the bones that are there to help and assist us in our growth and our expansions, to help us to remember, like help us to have the information of the ancestors, but they're also there for us to heal. And we want to heal these spaces fully and completely, and we want to clear these old belief systems so that we can remember the truth. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all trigger points, modes of functioning, ways of existing, mindsets, fears, lack of knowing, confusions from the past, so that we can really get solid in our feet and in our truth, and that we can utilize this for our growth and expansions and creativity into the future. We clear, cleanse, and heal that past the DNA and RNA and into the God space of first creation. We clear, cleanse, and heal it past the DNA and RNA. We disintegrate the old DNA and RNA back to dust. We initiate the new, and we reconfigure the new for each unique blueprint. We clear any trauma up from the bones. So now that we're speaking about it, if there's any multi-generational trauma that we can clear, memories of the slavery matrix, of past lifetimes even. Like I said, if we are remembering times that were that obviously are no longer here. If they're in our sand, then they existed at some point, but they aren't existing in our time period. that we can clear their memories as well, because a lot of people that remember the Lyrans remember like Lyran wars and things like that that have to do with robotics and AI. And Beebs, you have memories of that? She's really snoring over there, bringing in some energy. Um, and we can clear those memories from today that kind of trigger that fear of this time period, because I believe that this time period is sort of right at the beginning of the time period in that lifetime, and it's sort of triggering a lot of fear, panic, terror, and memories in some people's bones, and that we can give it love from the present now moment and learn from those experiences, and choose to do it different. And this is a time period where we can choose to do it different, and we can choose to be in alignment with our creations, and to create from the heart center and what's best for all, instead of just what's best for the humans and what's easy. That's a hard no, and we have to hold the no to find the yes. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, including all drama, karma, trauma, pulling out the dharma, neutralizing, purifying, clearing, cleansing, and healing from the cellular, energetic, and magnetic structures, and from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, to wholeness, to peace, to truth, to love. Allowing this information to initiate us, and allowing ourselves to access these spaces of the information for ourselves, and to in the accessing of this information, to utilize it as we move forward in those good ways. Releasing through the children and up through the ancestral webs, past lifetimes and their webs, including these lifetimes that we're speaking of today. And for the collective universal that are open to it at this time, including all planetary systems and on all sides of the veil, because planetary systems are also alive. Like, they literally have living beings all over them. They're birthing living beings, and they're a living being themselves. So they may not be like humans with a brain, but they still have a living experience. And from my history of like QHHD, and also from my memories that I can recall, people that have done a quantum healing hypnosis oftentimes remember lifetimes as rocks, lifetimes as moss, lifetimes as a planet. And they know that in that life that they had lessons in that life as well. And it was just as meaningful a life as this life. And so respecting the Mother Earth, and treating her with respect, and considering her in the decisions that we make, because we're all made of the same sand. And Source Godmother, please help us with that, and in this universe and in the multiverses. And please forgive our forgetting. Please forgive the choices we made from that old way of existing. Please forgive the judgment and the laughter of these things. Some people just laugh at this, but other people know that it's true. So please forgive us, for we know not what we do. We don't know what we're doing when we don't know. And please forgive us for that. But please update us, upgrade us, and initiate us, so that we can begin to remember the truth and make good choices for not only ourselves and for the human collective, but for this planet as a totality, and for our galaxy, and for the universe. Those are my daughter's hockey sticks in the background. She's a hockey player. She's a goalie. So, Source Godmother, I clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now. I purify back to the God Source origins. And I welcome those collective healed helpers, those beings of light, those doctors, healers, and nurses in all realms of existence, to continue to purify and alchemize these spaces, and drop us into those original blueprints, those original codes, and continue these healings until completed, including of our brain, including of our body, our skull, our whole skeletal system, which is of the bones. Help us to remember this, and help us to honor and respect it, and help us to learn how to caretake our bones in good ways, and to respect our bones, and to heal our bones. Help us. We need help. We forgot a lot of this information, and we need help remembering. And we give so much gratitude and thankfulness to the helper beings that are here with us, helping us, guiding us, loving us, holding that loving space for us, nudging us, for those beings that are sharing this information with the humans. Like, I got this information from somewhere, right? Something's shared it with me. The God Source, and that's who I go through directly. who obviously wants some humans to remember and to know so that we can live certain existences in certain ways, and possibly to share this information out like I'm doing today, which is a sacred feminine way of getting information out. It's sharing. So I'm not hoarding it, I'm sharing it. Hoarding is the toxic masculine, sharing is the sacred feminine, because the sacred mother is the mother of all, and she wants the information out, she wants it shared. So that's part of my purpose in this lifetime. I've had lifetimes where I hoarded, and here I am today learning to share. So I'm going to get this lesson in this lifetime, and I'm going to do it because it's part of my purpose. So gratuitousness for us being in alignment with our purposes, for receiving the information, and for utilizing the information in a good way. We clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields of existence, and we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this, and breathe. And a good etheric breath from the ethers, which is fresh, brand new creative energy that we can just rejuvenate ourselves with. And Source God Mother, please immediately evolute our systems for best and highest well-being of the systems within us and the systems around us, including those frequencies of our feet. And as we evolute those frequencies of our feet, we access those healing codes, that love, information, knowledge, wisdom, that specifically has our name of it on it. Please also do the same for the animals in our environment, for the plants in our environment. Really upgrade the frequencies of their feet and really root us all into this form realm, into the sand, into all of the sand, right? Root us into this universe and into the multiverses, so that we're sharing this life force frequency and the knowledge, wisdom, and codes with one another, that are going to help us in this lifetime as we become a human, as we are a human, as we make choices as human beings. And we're here to make humans in this lifetime. We're here to be fully and completely a human. That's part of our purpose in this lifetime. And that we just clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this, and breathe. Again, another good etheric breath. And higher self, body, universe, God source, whatever you want to call it, please trigger my vagus nerve now, which is my mother nerve. It's my feminine nerve. It's the calming, soothing nerve. And if you're feeling lightheaded, just ask your body or your higher self, your soul, to ground you to your feet. Please ground me to my feet as I hold this information, as I integrate it. And just notice what you feel like. Do you feel lighter? Did that stuff just kind of settle into your bones? You know, do you remember it in your bones? You know, do your bones feel better? Do you have a bone that's hurting? Remember, we need to get into relationship with the bones. What are you trying to tell me? You know, go to the healing center, my center of self, my internal sun. Go get the healing codes that you need. Right? That it has all the codes. I don't have to come up with it in my brain. I just tell it to go get the codes. It's got all the minerals, all the plants, all the herbs of the universe inside my healing center. I don't have to tell it. It just goes and gets it. It's already got it in its programming. It knows how to heal itself. Just be kind to it, love it, and give it the permission to heal. And I don't have to wait. I can give it to the permission to heal right now. So just a reminder of that information. So yeah, there's a piece of really cool, awesome information that I wanted to share, get out to my, soul family, who I know will also really appreciate this information. And practice, practice loving your bones, practice appreciating the dust. And actually, like, I hate cleaning, but it gave me a new appreciation of the dust. Like, what is that dust in your house? That's the living beings that have broke down. That's the plants. That's the dog. That's me. Can I respect it too? Can I have a love and appreciation for it? It's okay that you're there. You're returning to dust. It's memories, right? I can just clear it with respect, right? And maybe appreciate the process, right? So practice, practice. Pay attention to your own healing process. Notice what works and what helps. And happy healings to all of you, and may the peace be with us. Remember to slow down into these spaces, love ourselves even here, give ourselves wholeness even here. I'm safe even here. I'm safe even when I'm learning information I've never heard before, and I'm safe to hold it gently. You know, you don't have to just integrate it immediately. Hold the space, see how it fits for you, do some research on it, you know, research some of those things for yourself and see what you find. So that's it for me. Have a beautiful day, night, evening, whatever you're in right now. And I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Lots of love.